Films like Looking for Mr. Goodbar and Promising Young Woman highlight the horrors of dating. Many rom-coms out there deal with the same material, but few mix the horror and humor together as nicely as Fresh does. It's feeding time after this. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Fresh is new streaming exclusively on Hulu. It's directed by Mimi Cave and written by Lauryn Kahn. Noah, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, is sick of the dating game, yet still is addicted to checking her dating app for new prospects. Like many gals, she still wants to meet Mr. Right, though her attempts have resulted in many bad dates. After a particularly bad date, Noah meets Steve, played by Sebastian Stan, at a grocery store, and is charmed enough with him to give him her number. After their first date, Steve seems to be the perfect guy, but Steve has a dark secret, and Noah has fallen head over heels into his trap. Fresh is one of those films that you don't want to ruin, but in order to talk about it, you sort of have to give away a few spoilers. But I don't want to do that because part of the fun is how Steve's secret is revealed. Let's just say Steve is not the nice guy he presents himself as. He's a monster we've seen before in horror, but what sets him apart is that this story takes place in what is typically a rom-com format. The first 30 minutes of Fresh is riddled with one cliche after another. There's the girl next door, every woman, who is likable, perfect, and just can't seem to find that right guy, even though she's doing everything right. There's the sassy black friend who is never without a raunchy quip about every issue the lead might have, validating her every move while condemning the opposite sex. There's the chance encounter that leads to what might become a great relationship, if not for that one thing that she is keeping from him or he is keeping from her. There's even a dance number set to some cheesy, nostalgic music. There's actually two of them. It's the blueprint for scores of rom-coms, and I want to think this is intentional and not the filmmakers thinking they're doing something distinct. The thing is, that secret is not that Steve is really homeless or a woman or whatever. Steve's secret is a whopper, and it really is a deal breaker. After the cat is out of the bag, the film really takes a turn for the darkness. Again, I won't reveal it, but while everything suffers from the trappings of a rom-com in the first act, the second act steers into horror quite quickly. And while much of this act leaves Noah and the viewer sort of dealing with this big revelation, what pulls this film back from the brink of absolutely hopeless horror is the chemistry between Edgar Jones and Stan. These two actors really do work well when they're on screen together. Whether it is the two of them as a fledgling couple bumbling through the beginnings of a relationship, or as antagonists attempting to outwit one another, there's a spark between these two that makes you want to watch what they do next. This is what makes the cliched beats acceptable. Sebastian Stan, while impressive as the Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies, really does a great job as Steve and makes him a distinct character. He's got a Ted Bundy vibe going on where he is able to flash the pearly whites and charm his victims into doing things they never thought they would do. There's a real shift between the first and second act that communicates warmth one minute and cold-blooded scares the next. While he's sort of got a young Sam Neill vibe going on, he works in this very complex role. It's a role you really haven't seen him do yet. Daisy, Edgar Jones, is a new face for me, but carries the film well. She's got a Dakota Johnson meets Anne Hathaway look that makes her feel like the typical rom-com lead. Still, her perseverance makes the role as Nora feel distinct despite the cliches. But it's these two actors together that really makes the movie work. The third act of Fresh falters and relies on characters making extremely stupid moves in order for the big climax to occur. I found myself predicting what would happen, and sure enough, that's what happened. Things do get quite gory, gorier than I thought would happen, and I appreciated that. I could even tolerate the two dance sequences simply because these two actors were able to inject so much personality into them that I couldn't help laughing along with the film. Still, the final moments end up almost as diseased with modern action and horror movie cliches as the first moments were with rom-com tropes. Fresh is a movie you can't hate. Its two stars and the way they work together make that impossible. Its reliance on tropes and cliches is ever present, but it successfully bops between the two genres surprisingly well, resulting in an engaging, comfortably familiar story of two souls that are watchable no matter what they're doing.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside